Okay, so I'm going to start with some good news. I bought David Benatar's book, Never to Have Been, Better Never to Have Been. It's about time that I read that book. I've been toying with the idea of antinatalism for a while, and I've found some really solid concepts, basic concepts, and I'm sure the book is going to be filled with lots and lots of ideas and things that I've never even thought about. Books tend to be like that, obviously. I also have to reread The Moral Landscape by Sam Harris. I'm procrastinating, so instead of one book a month, I'm going to have to do two books a month, which is fine. I mean, I've heard people read, people read one book in one night. So I mean, I don't see why that would be a huge problem to finish up two books in one month. So that's good. That's out of the way. I got it. I got it bought. I got a discounted price from Amazon, and I'm happy about that. So that's done. There's three things I have to clear up. Three things, and like if you if you've been watching a lot of my videos, you probably get this flavor from me in terms of my thinking, and my thinking is often very. I tend to gravitate towards thinkers and ideas that are very, um, I don't know, unconventional, things that I find true but interesting. So atheism was the original one, and it really turned out to be a really good exercise in rationality and reasoning and a lot of other things, like things related to it, like the politics of secularism, things like that. Antinatalism is another one of those ones that kind of popped up, that kind of unconventional, and it just gives you this view of humanity that is very counterintuitive, much to its detriment, obviously. So I don't some of these ideas, they get really glossed over, when they get out there. When I make a video, I say what I'm thinking about these ideas, and it's hard sometimes to capture everything because you're kind of focusing on the unconventionality of each idea. So like, what makes that idea so unique, and focusing on the unconventional side of those ideas, you miss out on the more human level of thinking, and more emotional kind of attachments to life, and what life is. So with antinatalism, for instance, I think what people hear most of all is the end of human life. Not necessarily, not genocide, not by any stretch, not suicide, nothing like that, but basically the end of birthing human life, the birthing human life, the end of bringing life into the world. And I think it's important to understand that from my perspective, and you may have heard this before. There is beauty to life. There is a beauty and a profundity. And my friend Andrew would hate that I'm saying there's a profundity to life, but there is a profundity to life, the way we experience it, and there's a beauty to life. All life, there is a beauty and a profundity and a weight to it that can't really be ignored. So, but if you delve deeper into what antinatalism is talking about, it kind of exacerbates that that fragility that we also feel because of, of of this uniqueness we have, because of the sublimity, or the sublime nature of life. There's a fragility to it as well. It's very ephemeral. It's and we antinatalism takes into account the suffering that happens, and the way in which there's an asymmetry when it comes to suffering and pleasure and things like that. And um, intuitively, most people would think, well, I love being alive, and I can't imagine, and I do it too. Like, I mean, I can't imagine not being alive. You have this gut instinct to basically be alive, but it's not that it's something not addressed by antinatalism. These things have been addressed, and you kind of have to realize, you make a jump to realize that if there is nothing there, there is nothing to be said about suffering or pleasure, and therefore there is nothing. You end up with a non-identity problem, and that kind of sets the stage for not really being born. And then I've heard some YouTubers talk about non-duality, which seems really interesting to me, and I should explore that more. Um, but yeah, so there's that. So I don't hate people. I'm not talking about genocide or anything stupid. Like I'm, antinatalism is not about that. And I don't hate people, and I don't deny that. I don't deny that there are pleasures in life. I mean that there are. So on to the Me Too movement. I think I think sometimes when you criticize the Me Too movement, it is such a powerful force. And I know it's kind of simmering these days. I haven't heard too much from it from major outlets, but it's such a powerful force. Like um, aside from it being framed in a legal context, there's also this hashtag, as we all know, and it has this powerful social kind of weight to it that I think once it's in the social realm, it gets this murky kind of muddied kind of understanding of what's supposed to be happening, et cetera, et cetera. And it works in the way of, even having like policy around Me Too, the Me Too movement, and how that affects something as analog as human interaction between the sexes, and between people that are attracted or would be or could be attracted to each other. So I don't hate women. I do believe that discrimination does happen. I do believe that I do believe that there's a certain amount of power involved when it comes to taking advantage of people, uh, you know, sexually, and that does happen. Um, but I worry, like, and don't just take my word for it, like many other people, that the movement is just very becomes this kind of wild card for just misunderstanding and kind of a kind of animosity between the sexes. And that's all I'm saying. But Me Too is very woman driven. It's very feminist driven, and it just comes across as this misogyny. But I'm not misogynist. I mean, if Hillary was, running for president, or when Hillary was running for president in 2016, I would have voted for Hillary, hands down. I have no problem with that. Let's say Kirsten Gillibrand, I would never vote for somebody like that. I just wouldn't. And I know it's a mixed bag. I mean, Hillary's not against women's issues. I mean, to say that, she's, but women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights. I mean, so I do get that. I just feel that Kristen Gillibrand's kind of battle cry of the future is female is just very telling. And I don't like, and even on the gay issue, like say Pete Buttigieg, I don't. I've kind of um, uh, further kind of drilled down on my take on gay and identity and being gay and political power. I feel like it doesn't really matter that someone is gay to fight for gay rights. I think it's even more symbolic if a straight man fights for gay rights. I don't think, and I know there's forces at play when it comes to those things, but I mean I don't necessarily feel like a gay man, given all factors, would be you know better for gay rights. Like I feel it's possible to be straight and fight for gay rights. I mean, if I think there was a psychologist that worked in the 70s on the issue of homosexuality and mental illness. I think his name was Richard Green, and I think it's Richard Green. But yeah, he was straight. Got accused of being gay. The rumors, right? But he was straight, and he was very instrumental in getting in arguing that homosexuality is not a mental illness. So I believe those things could happen. And yeah, and the last thing I want to clear up is climate change denial, which I am not a part of. Like I don't I don't believe that climate change denial is a good way of thinking. I feel like climate change, anthropogenic climate change, is happening. I think the science behind it is real and solid. I just feel that sometimes competitive markets kind of take a hit when it comes to uh, this kind of extreme uh, climate change activism. It's very it's very it's against basically a competitive kind of vibrant economy where things like innovation and ingenuity uh, are fostered. And I think we should encourage those things. Now, I have a lot of reading to do on it, so I mean I don't have specific examples, but I do think that innovation does help human progress. I do believe that washing machines in China, for instance, were actually a good thing. So, and we always, we get better at conservation and finding new ways of doing things. I believe that happens. I think we've lived. I think I lived through the year 2000 when everybody said everything was gonna blow up and crash and everything. Like I think the humans naturally think that those things are gonna happen, and they never do. They never actually do. Um, but uh, but yeah, even when it comes to population control and things like that, I feel like there's gonna be some mitigating factors, some balancing factors that kind of help with population. But I'm thinking I have to read more human progress articles. But the 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 last thing I want to say is that I'm finding that the anti-natalist thing and the environmentalist thing is actually creating some very interesting ideas, like interesting, inspiring ideas, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. So I'm going to read David Benatar's book, and I'm going to keep reading Human Progress and see how those two things add up. Anyway, that's it. Bye.